I moved into a crappy studio apartment a few weeks ago. It was the only thing I could afford after losing my job and, honestly, everything else. It was one of those old brick buildings with creaky floors, yellowing walls, and a strange smell that never left, no matter how much Febreze I used. My only neighbor on the floor was some old woman who never came out. She'd left a handwritten note on my door the first night. Don't ever look at the clock after 3:33 a.m. Keep your eyes closed. I'm not kidding. At the time, I thought she was nuts. I laughed it off and threw the note in the trash. I wish I hadn't. I started waking up at the same time every night. Not because of dreams or noise, just this weird sense of urgency that yanked me out of sleep. I'd roll over, groggy, reach for my phone, and sure enough, 3:33 a.m. The first few nights, I brushed it off. Maybe my body was just adjusting to the new place. But by the fifth night, it was getting harder to ignore. My room would feel cold, but the kind of cold that presses down on your skin, like being underwater. And then I started to notice the sounds. Not loud, not obvious, just faint creaking. From the ceiling, from the walls, from inside the closet I never opened. One night I heard footsteps in the hallway, slow, dragging steps that didn't sound like the old lady next door. When I peeked through the peephole, the hallway was pitch black. Not dim, black. And I swear I saw something. Not a person, more like a shape, crawling along the wall, almost spider-like. It didn't make sense. I slammed the door shut and stayed under my covers until sunrise. I kept trying to tell myself it was in my head, but then the digital clock next to my bed started acting weird. I'd go to bed at midnight, and the moment I turned off the lights, the numbers would flicker. Sometimes, just for a second, they'd show 3:33, even when it was only 12:10. One night I unplugged the clock entirely and went to sleep, but I still woke up, checked my phone, and it showed 3:33 a.m. No matter what I did, that number found me. The next night changed everything. I woke up, like always, heart racing, the room frozen. Except this time, there was a woman standing at the foot of my bed. I couldn't see her face, her long black hair covered it, but I could see her arms. Her skin was bluish-gray, like something pulled out of a river. She didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. Just stood there, twitching slightly. I couldn't scream. I couldn't even breathe. I just stared at the glowing numbers on my unplugged clock, 3:33 a.m. And then she spoke, in a voice that sounded like 100 people whispering through broken radios. She said, "Don't look away." I blinked, just once. When I opened my eyes, she was right next to me, face to face. Her mouth was wide open, too wide, and inside wasn't a tongue. It was a black void, like looking into a tunnel that went on forever. She screamed, but the sound was silent, like it sucked the air out of the room instead of adding to it. I passed out. The next morning, there were fingernail scratches all over my walls. Not mine. So many scratches. Really deep scratches. I tried everything to get whatever it was out of my apartment. Sage, crosses, salt. I even called a priest. He laughed at me, then hung up. I checked my security camera footage. I'd installed one after the hallway incident. At 3:33 a.m., my bed was empty. But I didn't leave. Something else crawled out of it, wearing my skin. It walked to the camera, stared directly into it, and smiled. I knocked on my neighbor's door the next day. She didn't answer. I decided to kick her door open and found her apartment completely empty. Dust on everything, cobwebs like she hadn't lived there in years. But on her wall was a message, scratched in what I hope wasn't blood. It read, "They live in the minutes. Don't look." I decided to stay awake. I set up 3 cameras, lights on, salt around my bed, crucifix in hand. I thought I could outlast it. At 3:32 a.m., the cameras started to static out, one by one. My lights flickered, then died. The air turned ice cold. And then, nothing. No noise, just silence. Until I heard a ticking sound. Tick, tick, tick. The old unplugged clock on my nightstand turned itself on and changed to 3:33 a.m. She was back, right above me on the ceiling, crawling, upside down, faster than anything should move. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. She was gone, but my phone screen showed a reflection. Behind me, her face inches from mine, smiling. I haven't slept in 4 days. Every time I close my eyes, I see that number burned into the darkness behind my eyelids. 3:33. I smashed every clock in my house, got rid of my phone, covered every window. Still, I wake up. I don't even know if it's real anymore. But you, hearing this, if you ever wake up in the middle of the night and the clock says 3:33 a.m., don't look away, don't blink, and for the love of everything, don't listen when she whispers your name.